for me no can say the whole issue about Bawumia and Hubtel, no, it is degenerating into something else. Now, yesterday we gave you an update about reporter ECG for the bar saying out of over 342 contracts that the previous government, under their auspices, ECG had with various stakeholders, sa contract do ni nyina, most of them are fake, most of them are authentic, so they've terminated over 202. Now, the big question is, sa contracts ni nyina na ekoson, who oversaw them? Now, just for you to know, the head of the economic management team during the previous administration, in short, your friend EMT, was Dr. Bawumia. So most of all of these decisions are in regards to contracts, businesses, and how the country can benefit. Sa contracts ni nyina ne sa nyema ni nyina do na Bawumia oversaw it. Bawumia was there when the main decision was being made. Bawumia was part. And it's not surprising, say ECG for contracts are a buy, amount to be bree Dr. Bawumia said, Bawumia, you should have done something. Now, if you put more the way out to screens, so because yesterday we did mention of it, and then so Menoka say information about say more updates because people like Martin Pebu, people like Solomon Owusu, they are saying say now the evidence is clear. The evidence is clear. Say Hubtel omoni ECG for ekonya contracts no Bawumia ni hu bibi. So what are we waiting for? Why not jail him right now? Now, yeah, the BB two screens so for you to know exactly what we are talking about, and also in Penifua omunim de according to them, they've done everything possible, almost kasa. And the shocking thing of all of this is and same way in our course. What we are seeing now is that all of a sudden the new NDC CEO or share or that ECG or see Hubtel is fine. This same Hubtel before the election no more patch say Bawumia, they also Hubtel okay, a contractual agreement, everything is okay. But before then, let's put this on the screens. Or see ECG terminates 202 out of 347 questionable contracts, reduces Hubtel commission from 3% to 1.65%. Acting managing director of ECG, Julius Pepena. Now, most of these contracts or purchases are questionable. Inti say the contract in almost 347 now. Emu 202 they are terminated. So someone asks, which contracts does ECG have with these particular people? ECG as a company, Niemo Muhia to say your friend is transformers, aluminium panels, wires, coppers, meters. They don't go to China and buy it themselves. Companies where the Ecotoba no matter if you so the ECG is just there as a body. Now we are to wire, but no better man. Now we are to aluminium copper wire, but no better man. We are to timber. I be post, but no better man. So ECG has a lot of contracts with people. So at the end of the day, they can just focus on making on supplying power to the Ghanaian people. And CEO Diababe to just say contracts na never hono. Almost over half, 60% of them were fake. So who was the money going to? One company says in all of these cases, Hubtel. Hubtel before the election information said Hubtel nipa or introduce Hubtel to a year ECG. Dr. Bawumia. The correlation of Hubtel for those of you who don't know, let me try and explain it. So Hubtel, Ghana has to prepaid that. You see the power app. Power app no me dia ban. What happens is that auto people to me to prepare no app no so. Inti auto be able to by Momo by whatever it is. But the app itself the maintenance of the app, one more app, transaction, security, sina be ya utua kra na nkwa ye be send message ni reverse sika. Sa nya me ni nyina no. Dia company been attached. So sa company no mo touch na Hubtel. So listen to this. Utua ukoto prepare na utua via mobile money on the app. You use ECG app now. Now it be 100 cities. Now why? Now you baby south. Ube tuane also may use MTN Momo and Vodafone cash. Utuya commission of 3%. Echo Hubtel ho into obi biara obeto prepaid e wo krom ha bia no. It was reported said 3% of Sikana o yenti to 3,000. Calculate 3% out of 3,000, which means almost 30 cities Echo Hubtel ho. Every transaction, imagine the multitudes of Ghanaians. And the purchases I have to no nipa eye ne de eye Bawumia ene ne yere. Now, in some way, by it prompted ECG4 to do their investigation. All of a sudden, yeah, that's sorry, the acting managing director of ECG, Julius Pepena, or say 3% commission now Hubtel for receiving so about 1.65%. And people are saying, say, if it is for Bawumia, cancel it and give it to another company. So this is what really happened. In all cases, amount for be the actual letter, okay? Ekoma actual letter say investigation about how ECG itself, it operates with Hubtel, because Bawumia there, therefore, then it is very questionable in this particular matter. There are videos along the way, but I just want you to get this particular picture. Shall say research on Hubtel, and this came from the Dubaka Ghana. Omuko research on the owners of Hubtel, and a bit to just say research of Hubtel Ghana, reference to your letter, okay, dated 24th December 2024. This was just after the elections. On the above named company search conducted as per computer extract on the e-registry revealed the following names. Per our records, e-registrar revealed the name Hubtel Limited Incorporation, 23rd July 2007, commencement date 23rd July 2007. Current shareholders, Alexander A.J. Bram and Ernest Apentin. Beneficial owners, Alexander Bram A.J. and Ernest Apentin. So, NDC peniphobic chalk or ma register of companies say, Mo share Hubtel, how many owners of Hubtel? No, so owners of Hubtel, Alexander Bram A.J. any NS Apentin, no more the number of shares in Etoho. But this is what really happened. Omo Pacha said the company may have rolled shares and I say, ABR, there will be some hidden management. And a company said, they met with Bawumia as a vice president, but Bawumia has no dealing in Hubtel. Listen to this. There's a video memo I'll share, but I want you to get exactly what I'm talking about. Ebanesano and Chibia and ECG4 NDC4 Bapawa no Nansia last year be winning elections and NDC4 Bapa and ECG4 say all of a sudden no omo yeden omo records inti mahama ba mu and chepo and information omo audit ECG and ECG said they paid 171 million to Hubtel to develop an app. Inti you 171 million to Hubtel to develop an ECG app. It's here for me. I'm a developer. Yes, I have a lot of apps. What I say? Websites ni nema bibri. App akoswa for a company for a year akoswa $10,000, $100,000. Yes, because a social media obe here data centers. By app where people are going to buy something, utia ni ama code no abo. And non ye kutia 171 million. Into obi osha idea we be say distance is fishy. And chebiana Hubtel who said no, inkofo ye omo can be to yeso because Ghanaians were complaining say how can you use 171 million to develop an app? And when Hubtel Becca say ECG only paid us $25 million. TV I see also who is telling the truth. Who is telling the truth? Now the shocking thing is in all of these things we are seeing already some NDC members are in bed with Hubtel. I didn't make us say a video of Attorney General Ayini. All of a sudden, Hubtel is the best company in the world. Or events I say. But then you could see in summer, Martin Kwibu Ekaye, Babaka will look at the other side of this particular Hubtel saga. People are saying Bawumia should be in jail.
But the tax, I think we should support government and also open our eyes. But the tax, I think we should support government and also open our eyes wide to be sure that they will be used for the very purposes for which they've been promised. That's to say, buy the liquid fuel and then to help pay the legacy debt. But whilst say that we'll use subsequently, because the president said after we've solved the issue of the liquid fuels, eventually we will be using the money to help pay the legacy debts. As at the time Atufosi was speaking, he said it was $3.1 billion, right?
Yes.
Remember when Akufo-Addo was going, one of the speeches, he showed that when he was leaving, it was $2.5 billion. So in the last few months, Because there is a speech that Akufo-Addo gave.
That's not accurate.
Yeah.
That's not accurate. As of December 2024, the debt related to generation was $3.1 billion. So that is what the previous administration bequeathed to this administration. So if the former president put out that information, that is not accurate.
Yes, there is a video where he says it's 2.5 billion. So it's 3.1. Very well. So you see that. So basically, yes, you want to pay off, but we also reckon. You see that, Mr. Kansi, I like the way you put your question. The matter of ECG and those matters, but we also know that a lot of the debts, etc. Okay, have arisen because ECG is not being run efficiently. The corruption is too high. Look at the Hubtel contract. Something ECG was doing by itself, the software. Bawumia came and accused ECG workers of sabotage. He accused them of corruption and that they were sabotaging ECG. Then that gave him an opportunity to bring in Hubtel so that they could also now raise money for themselves. That Hubtel contract, we must go into it. You ask Bembuachi, other experts in the industry, they'll tell you that the commission on the Hubtel contract is too high. In any event, wasn't ECG doing the same work? Because Bawumia and his people wanted to make money, and when we come to ECG, problems with ECG lay at the doorstep of Bawumia because the cash water fall mechanism, etc., were being supervised by him. That's how come he brought in Hubtel, so that his boys could make money.
You say he brought in this administration, you've seen they've also been seen as well, you know.
They are going to renegotiate the Hubtel contract. If not take it away, but it can't stay in its current form. That much, yes, it's very clear. Hey, there will be an alluta. The Hubtel contract cannot stay in its current form. It's either coming down or going out totally, but not in its current form. That's how come those, remember we said it here, we said, look, that's how come people said, even went to the extent of saying Hubtel is owned by Bawumia. When they said so, yes, they know that Bawumia would not put his name as shareholder.
Well, that they came out to deny that it actually is not the case.
Oh, obviously, but who would be so foolish to go and put his name at the Registrar General as a shareholder? But what we mean is that the boys, those are his boys, so they make the money and then
just to put it on record, that they responded that was not.
Oh, obvious. Yes. It's obvious. So when people say, you see, there's language, there's meaning in language. What people are saying is that the way the Hubtel contract came in under Bawumia's supervision, it reeks of corruption that he brought in his boys so that those boys would make money and then behind the scenes they will sort him out. That's the meaning of Bawumia owns Hubtel, not that
so if you want it investigated.
Oh, absolutely.
And reviewed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I'm sure Mr. Jinapo will do that. No, there's no two ways about that. So, and other issues with
but Martin, ECG. If we do investigate it, and it comes out that Bawumia is the owner, will it be told to the people?
It will not be told, but at least it will be reviewed. As for owner, no, you will not see him or owner on paper. No, that one, there's no way. No. You will never see him. It's about the proceeds. Follow the money. When the boys are paid, follow the money. Eventually, where does the money? So
that's why you're calling for investigation and possible review. You wanted to make an intervention on that.
Yes, let me set that record straight. That the issues that have to do with ECG, in fact, as an entity, is under investigation. There are several issues when it comes to ECG, from procurement and other issues that actions that people have committed. Matters have been referred to the national security. There are some that is being dealt with by the CID. Others are being dealt with NIB. So with time, and that's why I made the point earlier that the issues with the power sector is being handled in several ways, multifaceted at the same time, simultaneously. You are dealing with the challenges with infrastructure, you are dealing with challenges with procurement, you are dealing with challenges with fuel and all that. But let me make the point clear that this tax or this levy that has been introduced is primarily to procure liquid fuels for the power plants.
For liquid fuel?
Primarily liquid fuels.
Okay.
And then like the president said, once you are dealing with a challenge, for example, if you are spending $1.2 billion on liquid fuels, if it's natural gas, you spend half the cost.
I see.
What it means is that you're going to make some savings there. And once those savings are made, then you can go into dealing with the debts in the sector. But all of them are being handled.
Therefore, Martin Pebu Ekensimbi, I just want to say or just rephrase the last things okay. He touched on many things, but let's base on 3 key points. He said, sir, we should go back and look into the Hubtel contracts. TNE. Also, number 1, ECG as a company, they have everything. For those of you who have worked in the military before, and I said police academy or whatever it is before, I mean, military. The military, as a body, they have their doctors. The military have their mechanic. The military have their pilot, in events say within themselves, doctor, health trainer, pilot, driver, that is how companies are supposed to operate, especially companies say monopoly. Monopoly ni say as a company no na oye bibia and in a particular country no be nyebi. And in this case, ECG is the only company in Ghana who provided electricity currently into a monopoly. And all parties say ECG as a whole more app developers. It's no problem with ECG. Na ebia oya number on say offer ECG toll free number na a common office. Identity na ECG toll free number offer enko a third party and a different companies okay yen ye J calls ama ECG for ankasa penko for or more J calls on their behalf. The same ECG our engineers UPB say the same ECG our one fixing posts, the same ECG our managers, the same ECG our auditors, and the same ECG our technical team that build apps. But then Bawumia came and some video near play and the video is there. The video is there. Sana Martin Pebu. They were there. ECG were on Bawumia by because that time he was your friend is the head of the EMT. That's the head of the economic management team. Also, the second gentleman of the land, the vice president, a band police crana or not done. Bawumia had a lot of positions in this country. Okay, into Oko ECG said, yes, sorry, I need doom lights. In Crawford, complain prepaid na emba. Afe cry the prepaid no toa. Unyusukra ne reading and Bawumia said ECG is sabotaging the MPP administration. That was the worst about Bawumia kanye. And no or Babe San name. Niema no Babe San or passing see and if ye be digital. Into digital no. Mosumbeko digital, which ECG had their motive in mind. So digital or maybe be online. Bawumia said some more ye app na mo be ye no mempe. I don't like the app. Say China for na ye, say Israel for na ye, and this should ring a bell. This is the same strategy NSB. Edu boy e use ya odi VSika. But pimene edu boy the CCTV that footage that came out. She said no here or mudrisika. We'll come back to the Dubois issue. But then Bawumia went there and says, I don't like what you are doing. ECG for say your app now you develop it. And I say no, I don't like your app. I don't like the way you run things. We want to change things. Or your vice president or your head of economic management team. ECG a public company. So he being a vice president, he has a stake in it. No problem. ECG is okay. When I have vice president, what do you suggest? I say, I'm bringing in a new company. I'm going to develop an app, a supervisor more online operations. Okay. So should we do the bidding? Now, in terms of public company, Biano, Obe floaty contractor, did announce it. So I remember way back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, Daily Graphic here, now in Kofa be paid. So into ECG per contractor, say betro ECG is looking for one. No maba. It around yeah, transformer near there. Into company now we involved in that technical mo be bede. Me ye mawa say na meje udi proposal be na ECG board ne choose nipa ba kwa contract na be ko ne ho. But then ECG and Bawumia did not do that. ECG just says Bawumia I recommend Hubtel. Case close. Okay, good. So Hubtel came inside here straight. Oman bid nothing. And omunya contracts no. Omunya contracts now, omu develop app no. App no mu develop here. Ni patch say Ghana ni bi abeto prepaid. Ewo Hubtel so no. Sika na utia no say 1,000, 2,000, 1,100 cedis. Hubtel beti mu 3% per every transaction. Remember say 3% ni so no service charges echo ECG ho. And it's different from the 3%. So the question is what is really happening? So Martin Pebu sanso to aso say omo troye ekoma register of company say mun hwem say company Hubtel na wine there. Omo so omo hwem Hubtel company no one Mr. Apieje ene ye form din into screens no so say be at the end of the day no obeye omudin no ye the omudin no to screens no so ha okay. These their names. I say Alexander AJ Bram any NS Apentin omo no omo de inti Alexander 50,000 shares over 50,000 shares and Alexander NS Apentin almost 50,000 shares because udi nyina buma 100,000 shares. So they say they own the company. And a lawyer Martin Kpebu party say, see, in this day and age, as politicians and as security and people are becoming smart, politicians and criminals are also becoming smart. There is no way Bawumia Hubtel yani die awakwa abamu obe register Hubtel no in his name. This is a smart guy. Because a smart smooth criminal, you can say that. So perhaps no adene die ye de be show dim akwase me amakwa abamu midri sika. Me fa say sika no ensi dan fa me din to so. Me de be tumi nua bi a oye distant person ye trace kra ye hu na woni dim mu, but on paper ne die but in reality eye me die. Inti Martin Pebu party said the thing on the ground is that Oshema, because trust I will come and register department say the people behind the company no almost say I am and Martin Pebu party said, do you think Bawumia is stupid to put himself and the wife there as owners or shareholders of the company? They be on paper they are Alexander and NSDA, but then in reality the real owners no Samira and Nikunu Bawumia. Now, far from that, Hubtel abeka senya no kra ni ade Hubtel holds their own right to say whatever they want, and as a public, we also hold our own opinion. Okay, no problem. Last year, before the elections, ECG former ECG boss, Mustafa Damso or whatever it is, he resigned. And Okokan radio say, "Nyama ekwoso ECG no anytime. Owo ho ni aba." Yeah, trust a government in here 100 million cedis. Na pam ye there more. But year in, year out, no, in terms of accounts, no, any accounts, if any YOY, year on year, no, they are making losses. And ECG was in debt. Into no baby at the nekwa onkonichi na orambe fano. Now, John Dramani Mahama came to power for the first time in 8 or 9 years. This is what is happening. ECG records highest monthly revenue in July, collecting 1.41 billion cedis. This was a company which was seriously in debt. Okay, into ushe date na wa say na my ushe odi share date na wa 26 September any date ya na aye reader e wo wi no e ho no. So ECG is now making profit, but now their call say okay, regardless say ECG are making profits no, what are we going to do about the Bawumia case? Into ushe has here Bawumia onwakasa no communication member obesre Sami Jemfi say Sami Jemfi ko tena UTV so ka say how to Bawumia there ko 1 year intimi nche Bawumia share as you try or say Dr. Bawumia is still enjoying even in opposition. His supposed company Hubtel has been awarded a contract to manage NSS payments. See, this is how God is going to expose our enemies and propagandists. People that did us dirty in the name of politics will pay for it dearly. So when they are saying that this same Hubtel say Bawumia there, or perhaps it could be his own. No? Sami Jemfi got na TV so car say Yampa or Mobombe investigating. No? This same Sami Jemfi now, okay, and his government have rushed to give this Hubtel again a contract. Saying so Hubtel, it's not muyo mejuman a yenya there in TMO contract for those of you among share a year in Sema Sami Jemfi eka I think we have the video here. Share this particular video. Babaka, we will continue with this particular Bawumia issue.
Chronometer, ora Bawumia de ko ECG through PDS. Opa, wa wo hwe mi bia wo sa meter chronometer, ora Bawumia de ko ECG through PDS. Opa, wa wo hwe mi bia wo sa meter ni bi no. Yanto nchia, wo hwe United Showbiz wia. O de enye ni sese, wo hwe wia. Dundum nyame yusu kani nyina wo fie TV, fridge dundum bibia na ko hwe meter no. Bawumia meter no. E ready. Chrono ngwa. Nti momo de ani oh no, I'm trying to tell. And I said, the situation in terms of light though was not like this. He said, yeah, time cry and this app will be no makofaban.
Who used to be?
Me. Once you are using the app, you are financing Bawumia's campaign. Because that app.
Who used to old meter?
Me, I don't use the app to buy power.
And to call
yes, because ECG Jumaya for IT for a Ankasa creative app. You bet me use app no, on our phones, in our palms, they are talking Kenya. But we buy also on Pedia, Ghana for my phone. On our the company by a friend Hubtel, or more form of app. As a make it be a E plus in one. Or Makofa or more app aba. Yet 147 million cities. Titisicano 1 point. Yes. 1.4 trillion. Yes. 147 million. I can show you the reports. I can pull them out for you. ASAP has even issued a statement on it.
So, this is exactly what we are saying. 1 year ago, Sami Jenfu was saying he was going to look into the case. You see, in 24, baby Omubu said, Atiye Emma. All of a sudden, the aura is missing in action. And you're betting that Okujuta Black one in UN, Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, right? Israel, Gaza, Palestinian. The issues are what Ghanaian on UN normal speech. Ghanaians don't give a hoot about that speech. Ghanaians give a hoot about accountability. Now, this same Sami Jenfi, who is supposed to lead the investigation into Hubtel, because you see, you say Bawumia, he's not going to put his name on paper. Say your friend is saying Hubtel ni any day. Bawumia is not going to do that. So if Bawumia is not going to do that, what we need to do is to do financial tracing. Say Hubtel for no omuti scanner ekwa hen. Ekwa shareholders no wa when you transfer money, yen tracy. These are the things now NDC, who was supposed to be investigating this and also saying that even if Hubtel or a genuine company, which they could be, young floating contracts no near other potential people, because ECG for develop your app. Bawumia sompe, Bawumia Hubtel aba. Why don't we let ECG do their own app instead? This is what have happened. NDC4 was saying something last year, so they will do and investigate it for mobile power no assessor. Why? Because now me no can say Hubtel or my son swing a new contract from NDC say NSS payments, they should take over. I don't know if I'm a fool for believing say NDC was different from MPP. Maybe I was a big fool, but clearly no, it's like they're in the same bed and boat. According to reports, the youth minister has awarded contracts to manage the national service payment to a platform called Hubtel. This follows the reassignment of the immediate past DG over insistence on continuing with the current service providers. So we are going to investigate Hubtel. Now Hubtel have got a new company. Ebe den Bawumia onye juma. Otimi ko na donate 500,000 say fa you be ye. The next otimi ko ye for na donate 1 million. Hey. As a vice president, will salary you and do 10,000 Ghana cedis. Now, far from that, we also have a video. This particular video I take for one. It shows Attorney General Ayini. Okay, before I be Attorney General Ayini, ECG boss and Kasano ababe kasa so Ghana for munya botre Hubtel issue muno she ni ho. So for them to do something for Ghanaians to be okay, and ye dey be ya nkofu ombe jai dede. You reduce Hubtel 3% near Fambra 1.95%. But then Hubtel's force ababe kasa say ECG boss a chantro. Let's watch this particular video. Yeah, babaka ebetu aso.
Mr. Chairman, with the support of the board and the ministry, we have also taken steps to address issues around procurement. We identified about 347 contracts that we thought we could cancel, so that we reduce liabilities for KCG and for the government. And the board approved 202 for after termination, and the rest we are working on them, doing additional due diligence to make sure that we can get out of them. Those that we can terminate. We will terminate them. I'm also happy to announce that Hubtel and ECG have signed an amendment to the contracts, and we have reduced the commission that we were paying to Hubtel from 3% to 1.65%.
It's therefore in some minister ne practices how 3% percentage now a year Hubtel for Yano or maybe reduce it from 3% to 1.95%. But then Hubtel.com and Hubtel the company no more news section and they continue to update Ghanaians on what happened and almost what Mababe responded. So you see the minister was lying. Yes, clearly the minister wants to do something at Ghana for any pro team ora for to say you know will feel satisfied by any baby. But in reality, never shade. Nothing is really being done. She has say, mammy. Or say, Hubtel for a bit kind. Or say, Hubtel does not get 3% of electricity bought by ECG customers. So Hubtel is saying the minister no boa 3%. For all merchants and retailers using Hubtel platform, we charge a fee of 1.95% on all transactions. So, some minister say you reduce it from 3% to 1.95%. And Hubtel say we are already taking 1.95%. We dey take 1.95% already. So what did they come talk? As can be near oh they are working, cutting down costs, reset on reset. Hubtel, I'm not sure how go there. Also news.hubtel.com. Or see, we are not charging anything. We are not charging the 3%. We are charging the 1.95%. And a Hubtel class say out of the 1.95% crano, 1% no crano then of this no e-commerce payment platforms no. Inti say obi betua prepaid no. Our app no snow use Vodafone na 1% otuewia 1% echo Vodafone ho. It's 1.95% no eba no. Emu 1% echo Vodafone no mo retain 0.95%. Minister na for time because he reduced from 3% to 1.95%. Entrosy. Lies. So now NDC is playing again. Now this particular video was shown Attorney General Ayini. Ayini was supposed to lead the charge. But once again, at ye but then I refuse so mama pepe. All of a sudden, Attorney General so is a Hubtel for your event. Hey, one neighbor say guest speaker, one neighbor say oh ya kwasha Attorney General Ayini. Attorney General Ayini ba ya oh Hubtel yen kwasha video we to muse Charlie. So Attorney General baby we do no. So bo Hubtel abasu dia any for I just say kwada. Because the investigation and we see who take you can share this particular video involved your babaka your betuaso.
I'm a bit tongue-tied because this came as a surprise. But all that has been said this evening is the story of a great company, homegrown on Ghanaian soil, by young people who had dreams, but also relied on God. And I think that is very important. They had faith in the Lord, and the Lord has led them to where they are today. The Honorable Sam George, our Minister of Communications, said something here. He was here, or he's here, because he is the Minister of Communications. I want to say one thing about the fact that we need to depoliticize business in this country. That is extremely important. We need to support businesses to grow. There are no NDC businesses and there are no MPP businesses. There are Ghanaian businesses, and that is very important. I'm very happy that my former school, Stanford University, has played a key role in the growth of your business. And I want to say that just as Microsoft and the tech businesses in the United States of America have grown and contributed to the American economy, you are also going to grow in leaps and bounds, and you will contribute significantly to the growth of the economy of our country. And it will not matter if NDC is in power or MPP is in power. What will matter is that Hubtel is contributing to e-commerce in Ghana and to the growth of our economy. And so, to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, raise your glasses to drink to the success of the Ghanaian business. Thank you. And so, here's to Hubtel.
So it's here for what you just watched now, the story of Hubtel. So you see, sir, all of a sudden, the people who are supposed to actually arrest or prosecute these people, one more, the Hubtel managers, and yeah, they're not now I can see they are dining with them. Actually, I say, and you can't see an award. So Hubtel, the Oma Buagana pa yeah, Enyas and Kutu Hubtel. Oh, Hubtel, they will be in power. They will be in power today. They will be in power tomorrow, and they will be in power forever. This is exactly what is really going on. Is this a very, very, very big issue? Yes, sir. I'm comment and bra. Ninya